Tashtale and hello everyone. Welcome back to New Zealand Tibetan Family Channel. Today I thought of doing something different and it was to make this special podcast. I'm so glad you could all join me in this special podcast. In this episode, we are diving into a powerful and deep moving book which is Voice for the Voiceless by His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. Over the next few minutes, I'll walk you through the key themes, the wisdom His Holiness shares, and what lessons we can carry into our own lives. Before we get into the book, let's set the stage. Voice for the Voiceless is more than just a title. It is a calling. The Dalai Lama wrote this with the intention of being the voice for millions of Tibetans who cannot speak freely about their sufferings, their culture, or their rights under occupation. The book speaks from his heart, carrying the pain of his people, the hope of peaceful resolution, and the timeless values of Tibetan Buddhism. But here's the amazing thing. Although the book is deeply rooted in the Tibetan struggle, its message goes beyond politics. It speaks to every human being who feels silenced, marginalized, or powerless. It's about standing up for justice without hatred and living with compassion even when the world feels harsh. His Holiness reminds us that compassion is not weakness, it is strength. He insists that peace can only come when we see others' suffering as our own. In the book, he emphasizes that true freedom is not just political independence, but the inner freedom to love and forgive. He often says, "Our enemy is also a human being." Imagine that, even in the face of immense suffering, he chooses to see the humanity of others. For us, this is a lesson we can practice daily. Whether it's in our workplace, at home, or in society, when we lead with compassion, we disarm anger. The book highlights Tibet's story, how Tibetans have lost their homeland, their culture being suppressed, and their people living in exile. His Holiness doesn't write with anger or vengeance. Instead, he uses the struggle as a teaching moment. He becomes, as the title says, a voice for the voiceless, speaking not only for Tibetans but for all oppressed people. He shares stories of resilience, the preservation of culture in exile, and the importance of dialogue rather than violence. This reminds us that even when life takes away our land, our possessions, or our comfort, no one can take away our dignity and inner strength. One of the strongest messages in the Voice for the Voiceless is non-violence. His Holiness follows the path of Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. He believes that violence may bring temporary victories, but peace built on violence will never last. Instead, he advocates dialogue speaking, listening, and finding solutions together. In a world today filled with conflicts, this is a timeless reminder that dialogue through slow is the only path to lasting peace. And finally, the Dalai Lama speaks about universal responsibility. He asks us to expand our compassion beyond just our family, community, or country. He urges us to think of humanity as one family. The environment, global conflicts, poverty, these are not their problems, they are our problems. And each one of us, in our own small way, has a responsibility to care. When I read Voice for the Voiceless, I couldn't help but think about my own life. For example, as a Tibetan myself, I feel deeply connected to His Holiness' words. His teachings remind me that even when life is difficult, we can still live with compassion. As a nurse, I see suffering every day, and this book reminds me that healing is not just about medicine, but also about kindness and presence. As a parent, I want to teach my children that even in a world full of challenges, they must learn to take care for others and stand up for what is right. So, for anyone listening, whether you are Tibetan or not, the message is clear. Don't underestimate your voice. Don't underestimate your compassion. Even one person can bring light into a dark place. And to sum up, Voice for the Voiceless is more than a book. It is a call to live with compassion, to choose non-violence, to care for humanity as one family, and to never lose hope even in the darkest of times. Therefore, I encourage you all to read it if you can, and more importantly, to live its message, to be the voice for those who cannot speak and the light for those who feel lost. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to New Zealand Tibetan Family Channel. Let's continue spreading positivity, compassion and wisdom together. Until next time, stay kind, stay mindful and take care.